Good evening, everybody. This is an episode of Reality Is. So, as you can see via my glasses, I am on the internet. And I've been hearing about this 3-year-old that was beaten to death. And the title of this article say third relative charged in fatal beating of boy 3. But what disturbs me the most about this is these are 3 grown individuals. One is the mother, um, the boy's father, and a cousin. And they beat this boy, a 3-year-old boy, because he didn't know his ABCs. And you felt he's 3. You felt the need to beat him to death. It says here that the authorities found the little boy hit more than 100 times with a belt and electrical cord. Had injuries to his buttocks, leg, back, arms, head, according to court documents. The little boy had a chipped tooth, missing patches of hair, and had a large open wound exposing muscle on his left arm. Down below it says that the cousin took her foot and held this little boy down. Now, the 24-year-old father was charged earlier in the week and held on a $500,000 bond. He was charged with murder and child endangerment. Prosecutor said he tried to revive his 3-year-old for a half hour while boy's mother was present. He had been released early after pleading guilty to delivering a gun within 72 hours of his purchase in exchange for prosecutors dropping 2 gun charges. Now, here's where I have the problem at. And I'm reading this as you can see. The 3-year-old second cousin, admitted to using her foot to hold the boy down while beating him and beat the boy while the mother was watching. He was beat for a number of reasons, including him not knowing his numbers or alphabets. They bound his wrists. They beat him 2 or 3 times after day. The boy stopped eating a week before his death and was vomiting when he tried to eat food other than bread. And he has a 4-year-old sibling. She is pregnant. Both children were in her care. Now, here's where I have the other problem too. Department of Children and Family Services. The agents conducted an investigation into possible abuse by Griffin and the father of at least one of the children, according to DCFS spokeswoman. Griffin previously had been investigated in 2011 for neglect and lack of supervision of children in her care. So here's my problem with the system. If there is prior evidence to neglect of a child, why would the governmental system allow these kids stay in these people's care? He was 3-year-old. He's a 3-year-old. He's a young baby. You have to have patience. You have to have understanding. He's in learning mode. He's not going to pick up stuff like you think he should pick up. And who the hell are you as a mother and a piss-po ass father and a cousin to beat this boy to death where his muscles are displayed? This pisses me off. We have such a jacked up system. Such a jacked up system. Who was the protector for the kid? If the mother and the father is not going to look over the child who can't look over himself, then who do you depend on to protect the kid's right, to protect their life? They have a right to live. And who are you to be? Somebody should have beat the hell out of them until their muscles were displayed. Then throw their asses up under jail without a bond. You don't need to waste court money. You don't need to waste lawyer fees. And they should not be allowed to plead temporary insanity because they was fully aware what they done. because the cousin left and came back and they was getting high. So I don't understand our system. We fight over so many things except for the things that we should fight over. And children's futures are at stake here. And nobody seems to really care until a child dies. How many children's lives has to be lost before somebody decides to say something and institute a law that's going to protect the children from A to Z? Now, you don't want nobody to whoop the kids. Whooping is totally different from beating and abusing. And how can you carry a baby for 9 months and go through all that hell of labor and beat it to death? How can you do that? Your child. And how can a father be a part of some mess like that and a relative along with it? There's no regard for life whatsoever. And it just boils my blood to know that this kind of crap goes on. They should not be allowed any bond. The baby that she has should be taken instantly when she had it, and her tube should be burnt up, pulled out, and disposed in the trash somewhere. And his scrotum should be scalded and burnt like you burnt the babies. Now, glad I'm not the judge, because what you do to the child should be done to you. Exactly. And then they can throw you not in the jail, but up under the jail. Because you don't do an innocent child like that. That child is innocent. An innocent baby. You beat the hell out of it and you killed the child. And our system is jacked up if they allow these people to continue, these abusive parents to continue to get away with this mess and not care about the kids. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm just having a hard time with this. I'm having a real hard time with this because it's a 3-year-old. Think about it if you got a kid. Think about your child being abused and misused. How would you feel? We should all be outraged about it. My son is deceased, and I would go to jail before I let anybody abuse him like that if he was living. That's my flesh and my blood. Why would I allow that to happen to my baby? What? These are sick people. You're sick. But I will help you get well, because I would do every ounce of what you done to that baby will be done to you, like I said earlier, and then throw your ass up under the jail.